The fourth episode of season 4 has dropped. And if you haven't seen the episode, I'll get into spoilers because I want to talk about this episode. Because this episode was awesome, as I expected it to be. And this episode is called Herm, and the episode follows where Damien Dark Blood, I believe, demon and or no, the realm it's told by Satan that he needs to find Omni-Man in order to stop the villainous Volcanica after she killed a lot of the creatures and taking over the realm. And but instead of Omni-Man, they found instead Invincible, and who was considered quitting, but and the opening with Art, but they changed his mind and teams up with Satan and Damien to stop Volcanica, and it was a very awesome episode. And I really thought Damien was an awesome character in this episode, where he gave exposition about the Underrealm and about Satan and how he's not an not evil, honestly, which is kind of interesting to know about the character in this version of Satan, of course, and tell them about like the torture about killing the humans, but for many reasons, and like there was a war. And it was a very good. It was a very interesting to know about what hell is like in this universe, invisible universe. And I really thought he was an awesome character, and Clancy Brown did a good job voicing the character as well. And I thought Satan was a very fun character, especially when he gets his powers back after Damien and Invisible get their crown back and get their crown. Where at first I thought Satan was gonna be traded and turn evil, but no, he was excited to get his powers back, and, ready to stop Volcanica, who I thought was an awesome antagonist. I thought her design was very terrifying, and I really thought her powers established in the opening was very awesome and very intense, especially when ripping out one of the demons in half. And I thought the other fight at the end was very cool as well, with Invisible and the other creatures, and him Invisible constantly punching her in the face, but she keeps coming back. That was kind of intense. Of course, the action in Invincible is very intense, but still a very intense fight scene. Of course, with a lot of blood and like where Satan's dying. Of course, but when he gets stabbed multiple times in this with spikes by Volcanica. And I thought overall it was a very fun episode. I also thought the scene where Invincible have a talk with Damien while falling before they get the crown, where they get a chat about how Damien keeps putting the helmet on after he stops talking. I thought that was an interesting conversation between the two characters. It was an interesting conversation. And I really thought where Invisible briefly fights the Vile creature was very cool as well. And it gets easily defeated and brings back the creatures and some of the creatures. And yeah, overall, it was a very fun episode. And also, I thought these scenes with like the scene at the end with Eve and William talking about her pregnancy, because at the end of the episode 3, Eve is pregnant. Mark was knocking on the door to check on Eve, but Eve doesn't want to because of that. And if you know the comics, you will know who she's probably pregnant with. But I probably not gonna tell you guys if you don't know the story of Invincible. But she doesn't feel prepared already about it. To have kids with Mark. But William is on her side for it. And And Debbie tells Oliver and Mark about selling her house along with Paul, but Oliver doesn't not a huge fan of Paul. And Mark goes outside at the top of the house, and Mark and Eve have a talk with each other a little bit about how Mark feels sad that he killed, about what he did in the previous episode, and then Omni-Man and Alan arrive, and they told them that they need their help for a war, which will be very interesting to see Omni-Man, Invisible, and Adam Eve team up. And yeah, and of course the post-credit scene with Damien Dark Blood, which I thought was a very cool post-credit scene. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this episode of. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the episode, and let me know your excitement for the next episode next week. So peace out, bye, and see you for another epic video.